2060 East Paris and the fine people of Heritage Pointe. The Pool Boys are back at you, back from Phoenix, and ready to recap all of the championship action that we just experienced live and in person. So, before we get any further, let's check out those storylines.
Diarra, swing it, Castle, can't hit the three. Offensive rebound, put back, it goes. Open look, Lawyer, and Radfield, on coronation. The Huskies make history, back-to-back national champions.
The clock struck midnight for both Cinderella teams in the Final Four as NC State went down to Purdue and Alabama lost to UConn in some epic Final Four matchups. And that set the stage for a giant of a matchup. I mean, actual giant. 7'4" Zach Edey for Purdue versus 7'2" Donovan Clingan for UConn. What a game it was. UConn proved to be unstoppable, and they cut down the nets, back-to-back champions.
Back-to-back repeats. And we would be remiss if we did not also mention the women's Final Four, because that was spectacular in its own right. You had Iowa, you had UConn, you had South Carolina and NC State. Crazy enough, 2 repeat of the men's Final Four with NC State and UConn. Crazy to see that. Some of the best ratings we've seen in years. Caitlin Clark, the GOAT of her time, but too much South Carolina action, so the Gamecocks take the championship on the women's side. Great Final Four, awesome to see. Some of the best viewership in history.
All right, enough of the storylines. Let's get to what really matters, the results of your pool. Before we unveil the top 3, we've got to spend a minute and remember those whose brackets were lost too soon.
Starting off, we got to look at Waz's winners. Jenny Wazelinski. I mean, Houston is your champion. Not going to be winning that many bracket pools. Kind of like in Forrest Gump. Jenny, I know I'm not a smart man. Well, this bracket, not that smart.
I'm not a smart man.
How about net burners? Amber Flynn. Really solid choices. None of your Final Four correct. No. Kansas is a champion. Auburn and Kentucky in the Final Four lost in the first round. Let's do bracket burners.
Richard Austin. He's the gateway to the building. Love him to death. But it's more like Richard lost him. You had Kentucky as your champion, lost in the first round. You had 3 other Final Four picks, lost them. You did have Purdue. But Richard, we love you. Gone, but not forgotten.
Gone too soon. All right, folks, it's now time to unveil your top 3 finishers of the Heritage Pointe March Madness bracket pool. And coming in at 3rd place,
ooh,
none other than First Company's Tristan Kerr, 21.
Whoa!
Tristan, what is happening? 107 points. His best picks were James Madison over Wisconsin and Duquesne over BYU. Solid bracket all the way through. Had to show out for the First Company's folks. Good on you.
Hey, if you're going to be the host, you got to represent. You don't want to be in the top 1 because that would just be showing off. But top 3, perfect way to finish. Well done, Tristan. All right, coming in 2nd place, we have Trisha from Grand Health Partners. She had 116 points. Solid once again. You had UConn as your champion. And in your bracket, the best picks you had were those Grand Canyon Lopes over St. Mary's and the Oregon Ducks over South Carolina. Great couple first-round upsets. Trisha, love to see it in your first go-round here with the Pool Boys. 2nd place, gotta love it. Congratulations.
That leaves us with just one. And it's time to announce the champion of the Heritage Pointe March Madness Pool. Laura from Grand Health Partners. That's right, Laura had 135 points. Laura picked UConn to win it all. Laura had UConn over Purdue. The only one in the bracket to have both those teams in the championship.
Yes.
Pretty chalky bracket otherwise, but guess what? When a 1 faces a 1 in the championship, chalk wins.
Ooh.
Good on you, Laura. Well done.
Well done, Laura. Congratulations again in our inaugural pool. good to be number one. So now that we've announced our top 3, let's take one final look at your final top 10 leaderboard. So as we just mentioned, coming in at number 1, Laura from Grand Health Partners. Congratulations, with Trisha of Grand Health Partners right behind her, and of course Tristan Kerr, 21 of First Companies, rounding out your top 3. Then just off the podium, we have Stephanie J of Grand Health Partners, Sarah of Grand Health Partners, Josh DeVries sneaking in also from the host First Companies. Where's that guy coming from? Colleen Kondratek from Raymond James, Tiffany Sheely, Grand Health Partners, Myers from the Center for Plastic Surgery, and Jen, once again, from, you guessed it, Grand Health Partners. Congratulations on your top 10 finish in this March Madness Bracket Challenge.
Grand Health Partners just elbowing, boxing out in that top 10, just holding everybody back, crushing it. All right, before we go, we got to give a special shout out and special thanks to a couple of folks that made this thing possible. They're with First Companies. You guys have got to thank them yourselves for putting this on for you. Thomas Starks, the Director of Property Management. He is a stud. He green-lighted this whole thing for you guys and thought you would be a great building to try this out at. We hope you had a great time. And of course, Tristan Kerr snuck into the top 3, but he's your man. He's your property manager. Love Tristan. Appreciate you so much for giving us a chance with this. We hope you guys had a great time.
Yes, so Heritage Pointe, March Madness is officially done. It's of course one of the sadder days of the year once the bracket challenge is over, but it was a great ride, a great championship, and we had so much fun coming through everyone's picks and laughing along the way. So we hope you enjoyed it as well, and until next year, this is the final time we're gonna say the Pool Boys are.
One shining moment, it's all on the line. One shining